Tony placed his helmet on the lab table and began modifying it with a welding torch. Captain America teased him, saying it served Tony right to still be single if he was spending Christmas in the lab instead of going on a date. Tony fired back, pointing out that Cap wasn't out on a date either. As the two bickered, Friday suddenly issued an alert: unauthorized Stark tech had been detected in the city. Tony assumed it was in the hands of criminals and immediately headed out with Cap to investigate. But what Tony never expected was that the person using Stark technology turned out to be his long-dead father, Howard Stark. And standing beside him was a young Peggy Carter. Faced with this bizarre situation, Cap and Peggy instinctively lowered their guard and approached each other. But the two Starks, Tony and Howard, raised their weapons, each suspecting the other of being part of a trap. Cap and Peggy quickly stepped in to de-escalate the situation. Eventually, after Cap's explanation, Howard came to believe that Tony was truly his son. And Tony also confirmed that this really was his father, his discount dad. Tony immediately questioned Howard on how he and Peggy had ended up in the present day. Howard explained that they had been transporting an important item when they were suddenly ambushed by Hydra soldiers. But they soon realized that these attackers weren't human at all, they were robots in disguise. Acting quickly, Peggy used a mirror to deflect the enemy's laser blast, and the reflected beam successfully disabled one of the robots. But even while downed, the robot released some kind of strange energy. In the next moment, Howard and Peggy were transported to the present day, though neither of them was physically harmed. The time travel process caused them to lose their recent memories. Tony, ever the genius, speculated that everything had something to do with the robot they had encountered. After running some analysis, he discovered that Howard and Peggy had undergone an unstable temporal transmission, a form of time travel that causes several hours of memory loss during the process. Seeing Tony's advanced tech, Howard became extremely intrigued. But what piqued his interest even more was the romantic tension between Cap and Peggy. Having not seen each other for years, neither Cap nor Peggy knew how to start the conversation. They stood there, both gazing awkwardly into the distance. Cap finally broke the silence and told her the story of how he was frozen in ice. Peggy asked him why he didn't just jump out of the plane. It was a question Cap didn't want to answer. All he wanted now was to move forward with Peggy. Watching from the side, Tony rolled his eyes and told them to just get a room, he'd even pay for it. And with that, Cap and Peggy left the building together. But no sooner had they gone, something strange began happening inside the building. Tony was in danger.